Periscope. Hello. Join in. Good to see you. I'm not going to shout out. I'm going to jump right into this. I've been in the book of Proverbs lately. And I think I want to encourage you to join the party. Because this is like literally blowing my mind. The wisdom, the revelation. And I think we've limited our view of what this book represents. For example, I'm just going to read some of my notes in my Olive Tree Bible app. That's what I study. So if you don't have Olive Tree Bible app, I would recommend it. You can write notes in it, you can highlight and everything. So I'm like hooked on this thing, and you can get many different translations. It's really profound, and you can study the Greek and the Hebrew and the original language and transcripts. You can do word studies, really proficient word studies on here. I love it. But I'm going to read some of the notes in my no, it's Olive Tree, not Apple Tree. Yeah. It may have sounded like I said Apple Tree, but it's Olive Tree. Yeah, Olive Tree Bible app. But for example, when we think of the word Proverbs, and we think of the book of Proverbs, we know it as a book of wisdom. But it's not just a book of wisdom. Now, wisdom is the summation of it. But what intrigued me about the book of Proverbs is how much it empowers an individual to bring implementation in their lives concerning the supernatural. Now, my message to my generation is the reality of the supernatural. That's me. That's who I am. Everything I do is about the supernatural. That's me. All right. So my mission in life is to make the supernatural practical. All right. Is to bring spiritual things application. That's what I do. All right. So when I teach about gifts and administrations and operations and divine movements and things like that, that's what gets my gears going. All right. That's one of my assignments in the earth. That's a major part of why I'm alive. So I pride myself on that. I really focus on that. I look forward to that. You know, when I hear about people's experiences and supernatural encounters, it's one thing to have all those encounters, and it's another thing to bring it down to earth where it can benefit people. So that's what I like. That's what I'm here for. But I look at the word Proverbs, and it just hit me when I read the Passion Translation, when it said, let me bring it up. It said that the book of Proverbs was, okay, I'm blocking somebody. The book of Proverbs, where is it? Okay, this is the Passion Translation. Chapter 1, verse 1. It says, here are kingdom revelations, words to live by. And that half of a verse, I ain't even read the whole verse, but it says, here are kingdom revelations. Now, how many people talk about kingdom and don't talk about the book of Proverbs? And I said, Lord, how in the world did this translator get kingdom revelations? So I looked up the word Proverbs in the Hebraic language. I've never thought to do that. And look at what it means. This is my personal definition after reading the definitions, because when you look up, you kind of gotta have to have your own working definition for a lot of words, because once you get through reading 5 definitions and the root word definition, you gotta kind of make it make sense. So this is my working definition. All right, so proverb was not merely known as a metaphor, a parable, or a simile, or a maxim, but it was known as a superior way of thinking. Now, that root word from which the word proverb derives, it literally means dominion and rule and authority. So I'm like, this dude wasn't just giving him wisdom out of his experiences. He was giving this man a school of etiquette. It was like a modern day school of protocol. a modern day school of protocol, what to do, what not to do, how to act in high places, how not to act, how to run a kingdom. You know, this is stuff that only wealthy people and those in authority are privy to, and God has given us all of that in a book. These are trade secrets, spiritual technologies, roadmaps into a better life and a better way of doing things and a better way of living. And we have access to it. What most wealthy people keep secret, we have access to it in 31 books of the Bible, in the book of Proverbs. 31 chapters of the Bible in the book of Proverbs. This is amazing. So this began to intrigue me. So let me keep reading. All right, so the word proverb is derived from a word that means dominion and rule. It represents the way you, It represents the way you think and the things you must do in order to be in authority, power, or to be able to handle any type of promotion. All right, so it was a school of protocol. It was information that only the royals or the elite had access to in order to cause them to keep an advantage. Therefore, when God gives you wisdom, He is giving you access to info that keeps you ahead of the game, keeps you on the cutting edge, and keeps you with the advantage. All right? So that's what the book of Proverbs is about. And now I'm about to go deep now. Now, how many heard the 7 spirits of God? If you heard the 7 spirits of God, do thumbs up. 7 spirits of God. 7 spirits of God. Do thumbs up. You have not? Okay, yes. Okay, 7 spirits of God for Dr. Marie. Dr. Marie, you'll find it in the book of Zechariah. Do your homework, Google it. You'll find it in the book of Revelations. Do your homework, Google it. And I'll give you one verse where it is. Isaiah chapter 11, verses 1 through 3. All right. The 7 spirits of God, here they are. The Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of wisdom, the Spirit of understanding, which in the Hebrew language is the Spirit of revelation, which is why in Ephesians chapter 1 you see the Spirit of wisdom and revelation, not the Spirit of wisdom and understanding. Same thing. So when you see understanding, you can replace that with revelation. When you see revelation, you can replace that with understanding. So starting over, the Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of wisdom, the Spirit of revelation, the Spirit of counsel, the Spirit of might. Here's number 6, the Spirit of knowledge, and the Spirit of the fear of the Lord. 7. Why 7? 7 is the number of fullness, perfection, completion. All right, so this is the Spirit of God in fullness. That's why it's called the 7 spirits of God. All right, 7 different expressions of how God moves by His Spirit. This is how God moves by His Spirit. When He moves in lordship. He moves in wisdom. He moves in revelation. He moves in counsel. He moves in might. He moves in knowledge. And He moves in the fear of the Lord. Matter of fact, the fear of the Lord is the very essence of His felt presence. It's the weight and the aura that He carries. And it brings about a fear. When He shows up, His fear exudes from His presence. And the word fear is a reverence. It's a respect. And it's not just a reverence or respect. That's what we're always told. But it is a complete awe and adoration of who He is. So when He shows up in the room, it automatically triggers in you an awe. You feel the weight of His presence. You feel the majesty of His glory, His splendor, His brilliance. That's the fear of the Lord. And Proverbs says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom and the beginning of knowledge. What does it mean? There's a place in His presence, in His majesty, in His awe, in His manifest glory, where things that you did not have access to, knowledge you did not have access to, information that you did not have access to, it becomes accessible to you. No wonder in the book of Daniel, it says that he was learned and he was a genius in math and a genius in science. Daniel was one of the smartest men on the face of the earth. And the Bible says he was good looking. He was smart, he was good looking, and he was anointed. They all go together. All right. So now these are not, don't say it like 7 spirits. This is the completion of God's Spirit, which is why, now watch this. In Zechariah, when it talks about the 7 spirits of God, it's talking to Zerubbabel. All right. Now, why am I talking about this? Because in the book of Proverbs, it's one of the only books in the Bible where you see all 7 manifestations of God's Spirit in the same book. You see lordship, you see wisdom, you see counsel, you see revelation, you see might, you see knowledge, and you see the fear of the Lord. So what is this? This is talking about how you walk out the Spirit-filled life. You cannot say you're filled with the Spirit and you're foolish. You cannot say you're filled with the Spirit and you're ignorant. So the book of Proverbs is how your life will look in the kingdom of God. You have access to how kings live in the book of Proverbs. You have access to how kings live. You have access how to implement the supernatural, those things that you grab in the Spirit while you're in prayer. Now you have wisdom and wittiness and innovation, how to implement it, creativity, how to establish what takes place in the spirit realm, how to make it a living and vibrant and moving thing in the earth. All right? So this is good stuff. So you see all three of these. You see all 7 of these manifestations in the book of Proverbs. It is awesome to me. So this is, wisdom is the summation of how you walk in the Spirit. So if you read Romans 8 and 17, when it says, they who be led by the Spirit, these are the sons of God. Well, you got to read the book of Proverbs to see how you're going to be led by the Spirit. What is the Spirit leading you into? What information is he going to give you? Fine dining at its best. Yeah. So this book is loaded. If you just think about the book of Proverbs as just, let me tell you how supernatural this book is. But let me finish talking about the 7 spirits of God first. Because when you look in Zechariah, when I talk about the fullness of how God's Spirit moves in the earth, 7 the number of fullness, the 7 spirits of God, the fullness of how God's Spirit moves in the earth, all 7 manifestations in the book of Proverbs. What do I mean by that? Well, in the book of Zechariah, when he's talking to Zerubbabel, he sees this vision of a stone with 7 eyes in it. So he asks the question, what are these 7 eyes? And the Lord responds to him. He says, these 7 eyes are the 7 spirits of God. Watch this. That run to and fro throughout all the earth. Now you see how deep this book can go? This ain't, oh, wait, let me just keep going. These are the 7 spirits of God that run to and fro throughout all the earth. Now he said the 7 eyes were the 7 spirits. Now why is that significant? Because in 2 Chronicles, it says that the eyes of the Lord are running to and fro. So the question is, how many eyes are running? He got 7 eyes running. How do I know? Because Revelation chapter 2, he said, what are these 7 eyes? He saw a lamb with 7 eyes in it. He said, what are these 7 eyes? He said, these 7 eyes are the 7 spirits of God. Yeah, he said, these are the eyes of the Lord that run to and fro throughout all the earth, showing himself strong. So how God's going to show himself strong? How God is going to flex his muscle? He's going to flex his muscle by how much Holy Ghost sense you walk in every day. The level of wisdom you have access to will determine how stupid you make God look or how much you put him in a good advertisement. Yeah. So how dumb has the church made God look? That's the question. So he said, hold on, I need you to operate in this thing in fullness. Which is why when I started teaching the supernatural out of 1 Corinthians 12, and I deal with the 3 dimensions of the supernatural according to verse 4, verse 5, and verse 6, which are gifts, administrations, and operations, I teach that gifts, the gifts of the Spirit, are the Lord's dimension of the supernatural. Why? Because your gift is not your grade. The gifts of the Spirit are not the fullness of walking in the Spirit. See, it's one thing to have the word of knowledge. It's another thing to have the spirit of knowledge. That's a whole other level. It's another thing to have the word of wisdom. It's another thing to access the spirit of wisdom. Or what about a gift of prophecy versus Revelations 19 and 10? The spirit of prophecy. That's John chapter 3. It says Jesus had the Spirit without measure. So this is like taking all the limits off of you. This is like removing all the hindrances out of your life. And it said if you get wisdom, you will know every good path. It's just been blowing my mind. I'm getting stirred the more I talk about this. It says if you get wisdom, let me just fast forward to this. That's Proverbs 2, verse 9. It says, then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity. Yea, every good path. It says you'll know every good path. So a foolish person looks at someone's success and says, that worked for them, it may not work for me. That's a foolish person. That's the deception of the enemy, to get you to lean on your own expertise, which is limited. Because wisdom says, someone else has been here. Someone else has done this. I'd rather take their advice and get done in 3 days what it took them 30 years to accomplish, instead of me working the same length of time to accomplish the same amount of work. No, wisdom has built her houses. Wisdom has killed her beast. Wisdom, I'm in the book right there too. Where is it at? When it starts giving the credentials of wisdom. Let me find it. It starts giving the credentials of wisdom in the book of Proverbs. Where is this? Yeah. That's Proverbs chapter 9. It says, wisdom has builded her house. Wisdom has hewn out her 7 pillars. Wisdom has killed her beast. That's why also in the book of Proverbs it says it's better to a wise man than an armed man. A mighty man versus a wise man will lose every time. Because it's not given to the swift or the strong, but to them that endure. So wisdom is like, wisdom is like, I think we've minimized this and we've tucked the book of Proverbs somewhere under the shelf. But the book of Proverbs is what gives us access to this kingdom lifestyle we say we're supposed to live. All right. It is it's the icing on the cake. It's the cherry on the top. All right. So there's so many. Now let me show you this. Because when you deal with Proverbs, you're dealing with many different areas. Not just quote unquote wisdom, like a blanket of wisdom. All right. Look at chapter 1. It says, why is this book written? It's not just giving you information to what only the elite know. What no? See, when you know this kind of stuff, you don't go around YouTube and conspiracy theories and the Illuminati. It's like, what is the Illuminati when you got Proverbs? It's like you got access to the knowledge of the elite. And it's like, man, come on. Let's step it on up. But, okay, not only is it access to superior knowledge, but verse 3, it says that this book was written to receive the instruction of wisdom. This is Proverbs chapter 1, verse 3. It says to receive the instruction of wisdom, judge justice and judgment and equity and subtlety to the simple. Now I looked at the word subtlety and look at this. Because there's so many different, wisdom has so many different tentacles, like morality, equity, business, etiquette. I mean, just so many different areas of your life that it's going to touch. The word subtlety means prudence. It means caution with regard to practical matters and in regard for your own interest. So that means wisdom will show you what contracts to sign, what contracts not to sign, what deals to get into, what deals to back out of. All right. Regard for your own. Next week, I'm going to do individual connection, leaving, going in and out, and it's bad connection. Is this good? Let me go back in. I'm outside. Who's that? I'm back. Okay, it's still frozen or what? All right, so I think about, I need to just package it. Maybe I need to do like 20-minute and, just 20-minute like teachings and things like that. So I'm thinking about how to do it because the book scope, that was way too much investment, more than what people could handle. All right. So we'll see how we can package it, where you all can get consistent revelation in increments that you can handle it and chew it. Because it don't do no good to teach all this stuff and you can't keep it anyway. All right. You're only as wise and understanding And you only know something to the level that you can apply it. So I know it sounds good and you want more revelation, you want more teaching, but it just defeats the purpose. Okay? So I'm praying still, I'm meditating. How can I get this word out here in a more effective way? So until then, love you guys, and I'm out of here.